Today on Stay Visionary podcast, we're joined by Leah Cowley, San Diego-based real estate veteran and managing broker, regional director for LPT Realty and Aperture Global Real Estate. Leah brings over 2 decades of experience scaling brokerages, refining luxury marketing platforms, and empowering agents. We'll dive into her personal story, then shift into AI and technology-driven innovations transforming luxury real estate. Welcome, Leah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Leah, take us back to how you first entered real estate and what motivated you and what your early challenges are.
What first motivated was a friend of mine. We both worked as EMTs in an emergency department, so totally, completely different field. We weren't going to go further in medical, and it was 2005. The market was booming. And she's like, let's get a real estate license. We're never going to make enough money here. Let's do it. And I was like, I don't know. I've never even thought about that before. But she convinced me and I did it and I loved it from the very first start. I just like, okay, this is home. Of course, I got my license in mid 2005, went into it, and the crash happened. So I didn't get that much of the boom before the crash happened. And back then, there was just traditional brokerages. It was, there wasn't. I don't even think Compass was there. If it was, I'd never heard of it. Some of those bigger brokerages that come on the techs, they weren't around. It was mom and pop brokerages. And I was in a little coastal area where I'm from, San Luis Obispo County, where it's very mom and pop, like small brokerages, even still. And so jumped right in, cut my teeth, working my butt off to build my business, doing foreclosures, short sales, and really dug in. Stayed selling real estate and managing small brokerages until about 2018, when I went up to the Bay Area and started in with the tech brokerages.
Oh, tell us a little more about that.
So that was it was like a huge learning experience. One, Bay Area real estate is different than probably any other in California. They just do things different. So that was a big learning curve. It really stepped up my real estate game, I have to tell you. I was working with very, very successful agents up there, selling 25, 50 million a year, very successful. And you just kind of learn a lot from how they run their businesses, how you help them and assist them. Worked with some really, really great professionals and learned a lot. Also, I learned learning tech is like learning a new language. I'd come from an area where it was mainly second homes and retirement community. I used to joke I know a lot about AARP, not a lot about tech, but I learned a lot about tech up there and learned the language and, got to work with engineers building stuff. And it was exciting. So it's kind of a whole new door, stepping, you always take your core real estate with you. That doesn't change. But then you go into the different tech settings and the different big brokerages and go national, and you learn the rules nationally for each state, which differ, some are way different. California is a beast compared to everybody else.
Yes. Yes. So from doing this, I have learned it can be brutal.
Just our contracts, I think 17 pages long. Yeah. Everywhere else, a lot of the other states, their documents in their file will be 5 pages, 6 pages, maybe 10. A good California file could have 30 to 40.
Wow. Take us across your team's transactional sales and now your brokerage leadership. What key experiences shaped your approach as a managing broker?
My experience is how I deal with my clients. I took that and my customer service level, and I deal with my agents because my agents are my clients now. So I was always very communicative, very responsive to my clients, and that got repeat business and referrals. And that's how I take that same customer level service to my agents. I answer their calls. It behooves me to answer their calls to help them. They're under my license, and they like that. They shouldn't feel like they can't reach out to me and get some help when they need it. I understand where they're coming from. It's hard out there. You're dealing with, these new laws now, the real estate game's change. The market can be slower right now. So there's a lot of.
How do you keep up with the constant changing laws?
I stay up with Car Legal, anytime that they have any kind of Zoom on something or webinar on something, I'm always on that. Gov Hutchinson comes to my area a couple of times a year. I'm always at that. I'm always reading articles. It's important to really stay up so that you can be top of your game and then educate your agents ahead of the time so they're top of their game.
How did you decide to take on dual roles with LPT, Realty, and Aperture Global?
Well, I'm the California broker. I started as the California broker for LPT, and then we launched Aperture, our global, and right now I'm the designated broker for that as well. It's just part of what you do. I'm a great multitasker, air traffic controller. I like having multiple things. I think I would get bored with just one. It keeps me going and keeps I like that busyness. So it wasn't really a big decision. It was like, okay, sure, yeah, let's go for it. Let's do it.
So you're saying balancing both how has that been, and how are you doing that?
I have a lot of support and teams. So it's not just a me thing. I've got compliance team. I've got an enterprise compliance, that helps me, review websites and agent websites and social media. And so I have so much support and help that it's a whole team. It's a whole team. Like mine's the name, but there's a whole team behind me. Everybody works great together. It's a good, positive team environment. We all work together for the common goal, and it works. So it's not that I haven't noticed we're like, oh gosh, I'm so stressed or anything or busy or anything. You have support.
Excellent. Yeah. It takes, what do they say, a village?
Yeah. It takes a village. From the top down, I have it. So it's great.
But that also takes leadership to establish the right people, putting them in the right position, correct?
It does. Yes.
Staying on that, between the two, what has been the biggest pain point you face scaling national and international brokerage brand?
Well, any kind of pain point when working with a startup is you have to be able to make changes and be fluid and be organized and roll things out in an organized manner. So if you have the mindset where you're fluid, and you don't mind change, you're already a step above everybody else. So it's just, making sure you're thinking scalability wise when you roll something out, like this might work for us now, like we should plan for how it's going to work for us and even bigger, because we're going to be getting that bigger that fast, and you don't want to constantly be changing. So whenever you're rolling something out, you think, okay, this works for us now. Is it going to work, 200, 300 plus agents? What are we going to do to make this scalable so that we're not constantly having to re-roll out stuff? So a lot of it's just your operations, scalability, setting up your good team, the company's mindset, and then just having everybody roll out together.
And how big is your staff now?
Well, we have a nationwide team. So we'll have customer service team. I don't even know how much we have. In California, I have another managing broker that works with me to help answer the questions, and he's awesome. I have a compliance team of probably 6 or 7. And then I have an enterprise compliance team of a couple, I have attorneys on staff. I've got other brokers, that I report to. So I don't know number wise. California, I want to say probably just in California, there's probably about 10, 15 just working in the background. And that could be totally off, just because I'm not counting in customer service that helps, or onboarding. There's all these little teams that when you look at the whole picture, you don't realize it's not just California. We have the compliance and the managing brokers and stuff, but then there's all these other little teams that, as long as you have good communication, it works really well.
Staying with that, the next 6 months to a year, where are you personally going, and what growth or transformation are you aiming for?
Personally, just continue to grow. I know the brokerage is getting bigger and bigger, putting things in place, compliance things in place, education things in place for agents, getting our systems and operations really tightened up to help them and to expand and just be the best service for them, so the agents choose to come to LPT and Aperture because of what they get there, how we help them, and just, expanding and see how big we can get.
So how do you see technology and automation supporting that mission?
Oh, and it supports them a lot. I'm not one to shy away. I was a little questionable about AI, but then I started using it and playing with it. And, it helps a lot. It helps me, when I'm writing up legal emails responses or compliance responses, I can run it through Chat GPT. We have a weekly meeting and we're always trying to bring tips and tricks to our agents there. We use it. You can use it for your marketing. You can use it for blogging. Blogging's coming back because AI picks up on that and everything. It's just getting it out there on, don't be afraid of it. You do have to double check it because, it pulls from the internet, and there's old information on the internet, and real estate changes. So you got to get the new laws and new things out there. But, it can help with listing presentations and just getting it out there and getting the tools. Like, you can, instead of sitting there or paying somebody to put something together for you for a listing presentation, ChatGPT can do it in a couple of minutes, and then you have it there for you. Or, when you're putting your houses on MLS, have it do a blurb for you, marketing blurbs, things like that. It can really help. And just getting that more out there to the agents is important. They have better things to spend their time on, like use ChatGPT or AI tools for what they're there for, and, get it going. You can sell more if they're behind the scenes, helping you and getting your tools set up to the best that they can be.
So with Aperture Global targeting luxury and international markets, what tech tools are you specifically, or AI systems, are you guys adopting to
differentiate
in that space?
Well, we have really good marketing tools. We have some very good luxury marketing tools, and the behind the scenes, it's really easy for the agents to use. Our CEO, he writes code and creates some of these, so he heads that up. And I love that. He's real estate based, and then he taught himself, he writes code and everything. So it's kind of a little bit backwards than the other companies. They're tech based and not real estate based, and they're coming in and creating this. Our CEO is real estate based, and then is now tech, and he writes codes and everything. So I think a lot of our systems are really targeted for what really works for agents and real estate agents in the marketing and luxury and in LPT, just because he has a good handle on that. And then he can really lead our engineer team to bring tools that really help the agents for what they actually really need.
Give me one operational pain point for brokerages in managing such large volumes of marketing, collateral, compliance, and agent branding. How is your team using AI automation to streamline that?
I don't know that, the AI we use in the marketing when you're ordering it stuff and everything like that, I think that's you deal with we have a Desi or something that you order the marketing. I'm not too into that part of it, the brokerage, to where we're using that for other things. I know other brokerages use it for managing broker stuff, but we don't really. You have people there with experience helping you. But I do know that we use some AI in marketing, and we're expanding, and some of the stuff I can't talk about, but but we're expanding our AI. So we have it, we're using it. We're ahead of the curve on that, I think, and whatever helps our agents.
Excellent. In your view, how will luxury real estate sector evolve in the next year under the influence of AI, virtual experiences, global networks, and data-driven marketing?
I think it's going to grow like anything else, but it grows in a different way because it's luxury. When I see luxury, I think, it doesn't sell as fast probably or as much as, the homes in the mid-range or a little bit higher. So I think so whenever you see luxury, it's a little bit different than the mainstream, regular houses, I want to say. But that doesn't mean that it can't use the same tools. It's just going to use it in the way that works for the sellers and the buyers, because they're different than what's going to sell and buy the lower homes or investments and things like that, and what they're looking for. I think, though, that the marketing is just going to be, you have your luxury marketing, and it's not going to change. It's just going to enhance it.
Excellent. Excellent. If somebody wanted to build a brokerage with scale, flexibility, and global reach you're using, what would you recommend as their first strategic tech and process investment?
To lay out processes and operations, because I don't think if you lay them out first and lay them out to scale and get a good framework and hire people from different companies. You know what works. Okay, like I worked at this place, it did not work. We worked at this place, this worked great. Like build, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I think some companies hire from a certain other brokerages, and they only get that one kind of experience. Instead of, if you have a vast amount of employees that worked at other brokerages, they bring in different experiences and what's worked and what hasn't worked. I think if you get good knowledge and ask questions and get good information from the start, and then really hone in on operations and get operational people to really do that, that's going to help scale a brokerage.
How important is streamlining your process?
Very important. Streamlining is necessity, or you're just going to be hiring more people than you need, and that's just not good business sense. You need to streamline, you need to scale. Whatever you can streamline or have AI do, you should, just because it's a good business decision. But don't let other things drop when you do that. So I mean, streamline what you can while keeping customer service and while keeping what you offer still at this high level.
Excellent. With your experience over all these years, is there something you can tell the audience with building real estate the way you have helped build, you can give to the audience? There was one or two things like you know, one, two, or three, would love to hear, like with helping grow.
Teamwork is a necessity. You can't grow anything by yourself. You're going to need that team. Hiring for team working skills. Whenever I hire, a lot of the interview questions I ask revolve around team players, teamwork. That's a necessity. The other one I ask a lot is communication. It's communication, teamwork, and then skill. The skill that is needed for that job. So when going out, get your team around you. So even if you're an agent on a team, it's like, who's your team around you that's going to help move your goals. If you're a brokerage, it's who your team and how you grow your team and who's on it. Because a couple bad apples can really make a difference on how you move forward and how you succeed. You know, everybody has to be of the same or similar mindset so that the train can just keep rolling. So who your team and who you have around you matters. Be organized. Roll things out in an operational, organized manner. Make it to scale. Even if you're a team, say you're selling 20 houses a year and you want to scale to 30 or 40, like draw it out. How are you going to do that? Be organized. It doesn't just happen. You have to be dedicated. You have to have knowledge. You have to have a game plan. So I think those are some of the most important things. And then just have different experiences. Because like I said, that matters a lot. Like different experiences. If you've done luxury, if you haven't done luxury, like what works, what doesn't work. Like the different experiences really like opens up your mind and puts ideas in there that can take you further.
Excellent. Is there anything that you wanted to promote while we're here?
Well, always my brokerages.
Or is yours?
Okay. LPT, we have a great system. It's very agent choice, from leadership down. We've got, a couple of compliance models that you can choose from, CRMs. We have the systems. We have great training. I think, every Monday we have a motivational Monday and Robert gets on there and, tells you what's going on in the market, mortgage, lending, gives you some really valid information that you can share with your clients. And then also we have great training, because we want to see our agents succeed, and not just compliance training, but training on like sales and growing and doing things like that. It's just a great place to be with a great positive energy. If you haven't checked into it, check out LPT. If you're a luxury agent, Aperture is a brand. We're already in London. We're growing in the States. We're open in all the States. It's a new take on luxury that you haven't seen before, and it's a tech brokerage with luxury. Check it out. It's worth your while. We've got great programs and great plans for our agents.
And where can they reach you at?
They can reach me at Leah.Cowley@lpt.com. LPT and Aperture has a website where you can go on and talk to onboarding. I don't really have a large part in onboarding unless, we're bringing on agents that want to meet with me. And then I'm always happy to grab a phone call, grab on a Zoom, meet with them if I'm near them in person to kind of answer any questions, because some agents in big, larger teams, it's a concern. They want to know what broker they're working with. And so I always make sure I'm available.
Excellent. Leah, thank you so much for sharing your story your vision, and how you're leaning into innovation for our listeners. If you're an agent or brokerage thinking about elevating your practice, these are insights worth taking action on. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this episode with anybody passionate about innovation, leadership, or the future of intelligent automation. I'm Ed Moran, and as always, stay visionary.